Are women allowed to keep the money they make from working? Oh yeah. And is it still legal to your wife? No, absolutely not. The system may be flawed, but it is widely unaccepted. A lot of men get charged for it, and a lot of men advocate against it as well now. Wow, we really made it. So and women can do whatever career choice they want now? Oh yeah, the #1 career suggested to young, pretty women is OnlyFans. Like air conditioning? Is that a company? I don't know. It's this website where women can sell, and it's widely accepted on this thing called social media. I'm sorry, do you mean women who get pulled in by pimps and are victims? They're no longer being sent to jail for being literal victims on the street? No, not like that. Well, yes, in some places, but no, it's empowerment. It's considered empowerment? Why not guarding your body from men? Now, careful, girl. In today's age, you could sound like a misogynist. What?
I'm a traditional woman, so man needs to pay my bills.
Are you gonna cook for him?
What am I, his mother?
Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom?
Does my body look like a breeding factory for men?
Oh my God, can you cook?
I'm gonna marry a man that's self-sufficient and doesn't need me to do those things.
You want a man that's gonna let you stay home and just pay all your bills, right?
Yeah, that's a man's job to provide.
Okay, so what exactly makes you traditional? It just sounds like you're kind of just wanting your bills paid and a free ride.
I find that extremely misogynistic and offensive.
All day, every day, therapist, mother, maintenance, better.
I chose not to raise my baby, and I let somebody else do it because I wanted to give them a better life than I could give them. And we stand by that. I chose not to raise my child because I wasn't ready for a child either, so I thought I would leave them with somebody who knew what they were doing. You disgusting piece of sh-
Oh my God. Haven't you noticed that when a guy pays for everything in the relationship, she's getting taken care of, but when she pays for everything in the relationship, he's a bum? Haven't you noticed that when a woman can't pay for her kid, she gets subsidy, but when a guy can't pay for his, he gets jail? Oh my God. Haven't you noticed how when a girl's bisexual, it's to be embraced and encouraged, but when a guy's bisexual, he's just... Hi there. My name's Chloe Roma, and today we're going to be talking about double standards. Are you tired of men always being portrayed like dumbasses in the media and in movies? Well, so are they. Male genital mutilation, perfectly legal in almost every single country. Female genital mutilation, illegal in almost every country. Thank you. Have you noticed that in a relationship, if a man yells, it's because he's an asshole, but if she yells, it's because he needs to learn how to not make her so angry and listen? Kind of sounds like how 60 years ago you could legally beat your wife if she wasn't listening. Or how about the biggest double standard of all time? How we acknowledge, combat, treat, and, acknowledge male victims of assault. Yeah, that's right. Because we live in a society that tells men that they can't get assaulted, and when it does happen to them, it's just a fantasy. That's not. He's by his babysitter. I thought that was the boy's biggest fantasy. If he got hard during, he must have liked it. No. Double standards exist everywhere in society, but I feel like it's least talked about with men. It's appropriate and normalized to talk about female oppression, cultural oppression, but when it just comes to the male gender, it's something we're not supposed to talk about. We're supposed to hush, can't oppress the oppressors. Open your mind, okay? Everybody can be affected, and I'm telling you that we are affecting the men in society, and we need to get rid of these double standards for both men and women so that nobody can be oppressed. Thank you.
We are feminists and we want equality. That's why we voted liberal. Your body, your choice, right? Abso-frickin-lutely. Nobody should be able to force you into being a parent when you're not ready, right? Now you are getting it. Why don't you keep that same energy with men? Excuse me? Why aren't you lobbying for men to have access to birth control? I don't really No, because if you're so pro-choice, then why don't you allow men to have financial... How come we are obsessed with hunting them down when an unplanned pregnancy happens and they're not ready? We make them financially responsible for our independent decision for the next 18 years, and that is perfectly acceptable. A woman can abandon a baby, but as soon as a man does it, it's a literal crime and he goes to jail. I'm sorry, you sound really misogynistic right now. I don't know. I'm a victim. She's calling out
want equality. That's why we find it super offensive if a man were to ask us to stay at home and cook and clean.
Okay, yeah, because women can do anything now. We can work, we can stay at home, we can even make an and people are supposed to be okay with that, right?
Yes, my body, my choice stops shoving women into traditional gender roles.
All right, I can agree with you there. So men, we're no longer expecting them to provide. Excuse me? Like, it's not the 1950s anymore. Women don't have to stay home and be like homemakers. So men, they don't have to be breadwinners, right?
Oh, I get it. You're supporting men being in their soft boy era. That's it? You want us to pamper men?
No, I'm just confused as to why we still expect a man from the 1950s while disrespecting them like a 2025 woman.
Do you think women should be barefoot and pregnant?
No, I just don't think we should be calling men misogynistic for putting us in gender roles while we continue to push men into theirs.
Okay, that's it. I'm a victim!
And you know what's incredible is that they have answers for all of the mental gymnastics that they're able to do in a span of probably like 5 seconds and be dead wrong about it.
Women can do anything a man can do.
Right, Spud? He's got a job. Are you willing to get a job and then come home at the end of the day and parent the kids together like a team?
What? What did you just say? You want me to work and do domestic labor?
Yeah, I mean, even stay-at-home moms where the dads are working, they come home and contribute to the household.
I'm sorry, you want me to be a...
All day, every day, therapist, mother, maintenance, then a virgin.
Next time she calls your purple-headed yogurt slinger tiny, remind her, say, baby, even a school bus looks small next to the Grand Canyon. Thank you. Good luck with that one.
Don't try and stick your finger up people's butts, cause they'll break your nose.
Yeah, no, you assaulted somebody. Not understanding how sticking your finger in a male's butthole without his permission, not being able to comprehend how that's assault, it's just as stupid as the guys that'll say that you can't a woman when you're married to her. Just because he gave you consent to touch his Willy the One-Eyed Wonder Wiener does not mean that he gave you consent to shove your tea fingers where they don't belong. One way only, and it's exit. I am sorry that you got in the face, though. Psych! I'm sorry that he didn't box you in the head. That's really awful. I hope you learned your lesson. You can't be doing that to people. And by the way, I too have somebody in the nose for trying to put their fingers where it didn't belong. So, this opinion is not subjugated to just one gender.
I need a traditional man.
Are you gonna cook?
No.
Do you think you'd be a good mother?
Definitely not.
Are you gonna work?
No.
Okay, so what's traditional about you? You know what? I don't know. But I will give him a good BJ if he spends money on me. How are you any different than a...
Women can do anything a man can do.
Wow, look at that female, her boyfriend. She's probably not enough. He probably drove her to it. Wow, that 35-year-old woman is trying to sleep with that 16-year-old boy.
He's a teenage boy. He knows what he's doing. He wants it.
Oh, so women can do anything a man can do, unless that thing makes them look bad. Okay, gotcha. Isn't it kind of weird how we celebrate women who abandon their babies, but yet we hunt men down who do the exact same thing? Like, hear me out now. Studies show that children who were abandoned through adoption by their mothers hold the exact same issues and the exact same negative outcomes as fatherlessness. But yet, when a woman abandons her babies, we find a way to justify it. We pat her on the back. We say, you were just doing the best you could for that kid. And I am an adopted child. I stand by this. My mom did the best thing for me. But yet when a man isn't ready to have a baby, when a man walks away from an unplanned pregnancy, we hunt that down and label him a deadbeat. We have given women numerous options to prevent parenthood, such as birth control, adoption, foster care, even safe haven law that allows us to drop our babies off at hospitals and fire stations. But if a man isn't ready to have a baby, get the pitchforks.
I am going to blow a freshly tanned 18-year-old.
Oh, that's kind of creepy. Why?
I just love the idea of having a freshly turned 18-year-old bust in my mouth.
Okay, you realize lurking in the shadows waiting for somebody to turn 18 doesn't make you any less predatory. You know that. You know that, right, Bonnie?
Yeah, I just don't care because I'm not here for the women. I'm here for the men.
Even the men are sitting here hiding their sons. Is there a reason why you think you are any less predatory than the men who wait for the girl to turn 18? Is that what's going on here? What's up with that? Next time you're having sex and your woman says deeper, look her straight in the eye and say tighter. Look at that. Now we're all...
Feminist, I icon Margaret Robbie, who played Barbie, is facing backlash from feminists, and can you guess why? Because she gave birth to a son. Women are so outraged at this on Twitter that they're actually demanding that she unalive her baby and suggesting that somebody else should unalive her baby. This is only one of the threads. I can't show you the actual tweets because I just tried to make this video and TikTok got it removed for hate speech. But if you would like to go to Google or just Twitter yourself and see what women are saying about this innocent baby boy, I implore you to do so. Boy mom is not the same thing as giving birth to a boy. Boy mom is enabling and excusing bad misogynistic behavior in male children. She just birthed a boy. Wishing on a baby, that's crazy. Yeah, I agree. So is talking about bad misogynistic behavior in male children. I'm sorry, I thought that it was all men's fault that they end up misogynistic, but here you're basically admitting that it's a mother's responsibility too. Don't ever look at me and tell me that feminists, Western feminists, specifically American feminists in 2025 actually want equality. They don't. They want supremacy. I've been saying it time and time and time again, and nobody's believing me, even though more and more examples just keep popping up. You guys rage out whenever anybody talks about lowering the rate. You lose your shit at any woman who calls out other women's bad behavior, even if that bad behavior is straight up. And now you are openly telling another woman that she should unalive her baby because he happened to be born a boy. Seeing other people that are like trying to stick up for her being like, well, she can't choose what gender baby she gives birth to. Even if she could, what the f is wrong with little boys, man? It's funny how the most hateful women towards men and boys are single women. They don't have children themselves, or they have some weird trauma from Kyle in grade 5 that was a narcissist that cheated on her. I have never seen a well-rounded boy mom or a well-rounded wife or girlfriend hate on men's rights or hate on women because they're around men. This is all coming for women that are projecting trauma onto people who did nothing to them in the first place. Wishing on a baby just because he's a boy is some sick work. Like maybe you need to go back to Egyptian times. There's a certain pharaoh you guys would have gotten along with pretty great. Just because I have a son does not mean he's going to grow up to be misogynistic. It's not something that's just inherent in people. It's a character flaw. And the majority of boys who are raised by their mothers, statistics show actually hold less misogyny than the average girl who is raised by a single mother. There are studies on this. Look at the FUP. But this is feminism, ladies and gentlemen. This is modern day feminism.
And it's crazy how social media has exposed this foolishness that, once again, these modern women would be talking about amongst themselves in their little circles, just saying this stuff crazy, out of line, over the top. But now they feel so comfortable saying it, typing it online, and somehow they're not getting banned for hate speech. That is crazy work.
So you know how Margaret Robbie gave birth to a boy and then girls were in the comments saying that she should basically just unalive her son because he's a boy? Yeah, tell me more about how girls must stick together and how feminists want equality, not supremacy.
I just don't understand how modern women are complaining that men aren't doing as much anymore. They have the same toxic masculinity as the older generation, but they don't know how to do anything. Are you joking? Do you not have the ability to look in the mirror? We have the exact same expectations for men that we've had for like 100 years. But now as women, we believe that we don't have to do anything for them in return. Nothing. If we have a husband, he better work his ass off to support us. But if he asks us to clean the house and cook him meals, at some point, you gotta stop blaming men for absolutely everything and just like look in the mirror for once, because we are not perfect, like at all. So maybe men are chasing us less and doing less things for us because we don't deserve it. Maybe that's why. Not all of us, not all women, but a lot of them nowadays. Thank you. If you want an old school traditional man, you need to be an old school traditional woman. I don't know why this is offensive. I don't know why some people can't understand it, but you are not going to find a husband who pays all of your bills with his great ass job while you sit at home and do nothing. He's not going to tolerate it.
I don't know why this is controversial. I don't know why we expect men to just give, and we take while thinking we can offer nothing in return. If you have a man that has a good job that wants to pay all of your bills, you are damn lucky, and you better make sure that those meals are prepared and that house is clean. And what's crazy is so many women watching this right now is going to be like, why doesn't he do it? It's a basic life skill. So is paying your own rent. So hop to it. Why do men only want women who cook and clean? They're so oppressive. I don't know, maybe because most modern women won't even look twice at a guy unless he's making six figures? I don't know.
American women be like, I will do anything for you, sweetheart. And then proceed to do absolutely nothing but destroy your life and empty your bank account.
I find it super entertaining how women want to find a man that'll pay all of her bills, but then she can't stand the fact that he may, like, tell her how to live a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the women that are like, my husband won't let me post bikini pictures online. He's so evil. Meanwhile, he's literally providing everything, paying all her bills. He's loving her. You really just want to give all that up just because you want to get naked. Like, it's fine. You can marry, like, a feminist man who will allow you to be naked. He's not going to be paying all of your bills, though, so you've kind of got to pick one.
You know, I've been a men's rights advocate for about 5 years now. I was the first woman to ever advocate for men the way you see it now on social media. And one of the biggest questions I always get is, why do you advocate for men? When did you decide to do this? And the fact that people even have to ask me this question just shows how fucked up our society is. But I'll tell you why. I grew up in Canada, okay? I grew up around men. I had male staff at my group home. So I was exposed to men, which means I didn't live in this fucked little bubble that just told me that I was the only one oppressed. I saw them go through self-harm, body image issues, addictions. Like, I saw these guys suffer. As a teenager, I was mollywopping the girls who thought it was acceptable to put their hands on my guy friends. Because guess what? It goes both ways. Why you your partner? Right, okay. Then I get on social media because I grew up on the streets. I didn't even really have a cell phone, okay? So I didn't join social media till I was like, 19, 20? And somehow on TikTok, it became this like big thing to just on men, which was something I never saw before. So when I joined social media in 2019, there was a big hashtag going around, and it was hashtag peg all men and hashtag kill all men. You can just Google this. So this was the biggest hashtag in 2019. And in 2020, hashtag all men and hashtag yes all men was the most trending hashtag on social media, okay? So you can imagine me in Canada, where feminism is not about hating men and discounting the male's rate based off of, oh, well, they did it to themselves, was something I had never heard of. Then I get exposed to social media and I just see that it's normal. It is normal for women to project blatant misandry and sexism. And not only that, the biggest culture shock to me was the fact that I was demonized and literally called a pick-me girl because I said, hey guys, let's not men. Let's not only value them for their money. Let's care about lowering this rate. Let's actually think about their emotions without calling it pampering men, okay? So you guys wonder like why I'm so passionate about this, why I've been doing it for 5 years, and why I'll do it until my are literally sagging to the floor. It's because it's common sense. And this common sense hasn't seemed to reach like America, because your feminists over there are wild. They're wild. They're insufferable, and they're some of the most ass-hat backwards I've ever heard in my life, and I don't take you guys seriously. So you guys can sit here and be like, Roma's so mean, Roma wants to get picked. I got picked. I've never had an issue being around boys or being accepted by boys. It's you guys that want to get picked for the feminist sleepover so bad that you treat men like on a daily. Thank you.
And this is what modern women get mad at. Somebody sticking up for a man, saying men have things to say too. Men are actually valuable and useful. Y'all sitting up there saying stupid stuff like, what do I need a man for? To sit in the apartment that you're sitting in right now. To get out there and drive the car that you want to drive. That's what you need a man for. Can y'all stop saying stupid stuff, please?
Did you know
that 50% of all crimes committed in schools are committed by female teachers, and the other 50% are committed by male teachers. Did you know that? You would also be very interested to find out that if you are a male teacher diddling students, there is an 80 to 95% chance that you will get reported and you will get caught. But if you are a female teacher diddling students, there is an 80% chance that you will get away with it. So if we want to apply those statistics to like everyday society, I'm pretty sure it's pretty to be a man, okay? I'm low-key kind of tired of living in a society where we only talk about women's issues, never talk about men's issues, and we make up this lie being like men's rights advocates only talk about men's issues when they're trying to piss off women. But yet anytime men's rights advocates want to talk about men's issues, here comes a feminist being like, well, it happens to women more. Hypocrites. Thank you.
On today's episode of toxic women getting a taste of their own medicine and absolutely hating it. Oh, you're gonna love this one.
Huh, I'm 8.5 inches. Damn, dude, this guy's tiny. He must be a dwarf. Sorry, I'm not interested in being friends with midgets. Piss me.
Okay, so not only are you body shaming and dehumanizing a massive chunk of the population, but you're also really strongly hinting at some ableism. Okay, cool. Now, as anybody could probably predict, and rightfully so, her comments were absolutely ruthless. So ruthless that she had to turn them off. Because they mainly consisted of people humbly reminding her that she is a member of the itty-bitty committee. So this ended up being her top liked comment at over 40,000 likes, and you would think that her response would be something along the lines of, I am humbled now. I get it. We should be body shaming each other, right? Boy, we cannot be more wrong.
The comments under this video have been distasteful, disgusting, and outright disrespectful. There is something I don't agree with, okay? And y'all are body shaming me, telling me I have a flat chest, okay? Because what y'all need to understand is I get in for free at the movie theaters.
No, you don't. I have damn near triple D's, and even I'm not getting into the movie theater for free. You know why? Because capitalism, lady, that's not how the world works.
I couldn't imagine having the audacity to body shame somebody that way and then have it happen to you and be like, I'm a victim! Like, no, you are not. Humble yourself. You got to taste your own medicine. You didn't like it. And rather than just owning up to it and being like, hey, I'm sorry, you tried to play it off as this big joke and tried to convince people that you're to get you free movie tickets. Well, first of all, I don't know in what world that's a flex, like to absolutely anybody except maybe the Beckys. But like, second of all, that's not even true. It's not even true. You're f***ing lying. You're lying. You get no, and we all know. Isn't it funny how women will get stretched out by random men for free, but the moment they get stretched out by a baby for their husband,
All day, every day, therapist, mother made.
Isn't it funny how when a man hates a woman, it's usually not women that's the problem, it's the man. But when women hate men, it's not women that's the problem, it's the men. Like, it's perfectly okay to say, I hate all men. But as soon as someone says, I hate all women, it's perfectly okay to say men are useless because that's my experience with them. But as soon as a man says one negative thing about a woman, it's not because women could be doing anything wrong, it's because he's a misogynist. So can we apply that same thinking? Like, sometimes when we're complaining about men, it's valid. Other times when we're just generalizing them, it's because we are the problem. Is that okay to say? Or am I just a pick-me girl? Thank you.
I will never do 50-50 with a man.
Oh, you're against 50-50?
Yes, I am.
And stop taking 50% of it in the case of a divorce.
Oh, well, now that's just...
No. If you're so against 50-50, stop taking 50% of the when you get divorced.
Okay, look, maybe I didn't make it clear. I'm against 50-50 when it doesn't benefit me and it means that I have to be held accountable and actually, work. We are feminists and we believe in equality.
Oh, even when it comes to preferences? What do you mean? If a guy won't let his girlfriend have what is he?
Insecure.
And a woman who won't allow her boyfriend to watch in a relationship, she is?
An empowered woman setting her boundaries.
A man who expects big butt, what is he?
Misogynist.
And a woman who expects big muscles and big schlongs?
A smart woman with a brain, obviously.
Okay, and weight shouldn't matter or else he's insecure, right?
Yeah, obviously we need confident men.
So height and weight don't matter for you either?
I have standards.
Okay, and last but not least, a guy who thinks that a girl shouldn't have a high body count?
An insecure man baby who has outdated beliefs. And a woman who won't date a broke man who's had too many girlfriends?
A strong, empowered feminist.
Yep, that's what I thought. Y'all don't want equality, you want supremacy. Thank you. Notice how men get their hearts broken all the time, but yet you don't see them on TikTok making dumbass videos like, if I ever catch Fifi's again, push me down the stairs. And suffer in silence like the rest of us. Nobody cares. Wash your hair, read a book, but most importantly, tell someone's dusty ass daughter to shut the fuck up today. Okay? I love you, bestie.
Just another video that exposes that modern women hate to be called on the carpet. I'm reminded of a video where a young lady, Amani Talks, I think it was, said, "Oh man, this guy is a great guy. He sent me flowers even though we're broken up. That man is not my husband." Women all in the comments praising her. "Oh, this is great. I'm in the same boat. I'm going to repost this, put this on his For You page." But then a man comes out and does the same thing, and they all out in his comments crashing out, talking about, "How dare you? Do you like men?" What a double standard.
No, I'm not ripping it.
Let's go.
Take your shirt off. Oh, damn.
I'm sorry. You want to tell me that if that was gender reversed, that would be acceptable and allowed on TikTok? Look at that guy's face, bro. He was having none of that. He was physically saying stop. Oh, but assault doesn't happen to men. That was straight up assault. The intent was to get aroused by his body. That is assault. If I stood at a party and a bunch of dudes and a girl was assisting and having that done to my shirt, I would be knocking every single one of their heads in and calling the police. If someone posted a video of it, that would be the evidence at their trial. But a guy, does he get that same respect? No. He gets assaulted and laughed at. If men were the ones that could have babies, they would take their birth control. They would be held more accountable. They wouldn't be popping out more babies after social services repoed the last ones. You would probably see far less, "Oh, I'm pregnant," just to keep the woman around. There would not be clinics on every corner because it wouldn't be needed. Feminists want to live in this delusion that like men have it so easy that if they were the ones to pop out babies, everything would be perfect and fine. No, it wouldn't. Because let's be honest, child support wouldn't exist either. Do you think for a second a woman is going to pay a man for a baby that's also hers? No. Now I'm going to sit back and watch you feminists rage out in my comments. Have a good day.
What if men had to go through a police check, a year-long cognitive therapy program, and a credit check before being allowed to enter into a serious relationship, a marriage, and especially becoming a parent?
Hi, Becky. Yeah, victim of an incredibly mother here. I have a couple questions. So, like, the cognitive therapy part before entering into a marriage, that's just for men? Because if it was for women, my dad really could have benefited before the woman he married viciously against his children. And the criminal record, well, I guess women just don't commit crimes. There goes, like, most of my teenage years. But I find it just, like, super interesting how you put the credit check in there. So it's interesting that you call yourself a feminist, which means you don't believe in men placing value on women due to their gender, which is usually based around their bodies. But you do believe in placing the value on men, which is typically their money. So if we get to check their credit, does that mean that men get to first before they marry us to make sure that we're going to satisfy them? Well, I'm a trad wife. I look after the home, I cook, I clean, I take care of the children. Oh, so you're being oppressed? How do you like the oppression? How do you like being your husband's dog? Wait, what? I'm confused. You know, my husband works almost 65 hours a week. He busts his ass to provide for me and our kids. You know that, right? Yeah, something about a man not being able to cook and clean just doesn't rub right with me. Oh, okay, so wait, you would prefer that I go work? Like we share the workload then? No, a 50-50 man is literally a disgrace. Like, boys are in their soft boy era. Okay, wait, so let me get this straight. You expect men to provide for women, work all day, every single day to provide for me, but if I dare provide something in return, like within the household, I'm being oppressed? Now you're getting it, sweetie. Now you're a feminist. Okay, so I can't be in any gender roles, but men have to be in theirs. Got it? Isn't it kind of funny how a woman will just like casually ruin a man's life and then like a month later pop up back on his Facebook liking all of his photos like she isn't the absolute spawn of Satan? Except it's not really funny, is it? It's kind of serious.
Gentlemen, I want you to remember that when you're taking a shower and your hot water suddenly turns cold, it's because somebody else is using your hot water. And I'm not just talking about water, am I? There's a man on Instagram who dedicates his entire page to bringing awareness to the fact that he was at the age of 12 by a 35-year-old woman, and he tries to support other male victims. And yet his entire page is filled with sympathizers who comment things like, he deserved it, he must have liked it, he should have fought back, women can't do that to men. So you know what? I'll start falling for the hashtag believe all women when we start believing and supporting at least one man that comes forward. Thank you. Okay, now there's absolutely no reason why I'm 27 years old and just finding out that guys like this part of women's body here. You guys call it the pouch? You like that? Bro, when my boyfriend told me that, my mind was blown. I'm like, you mean like certain guys, like how certain women like guys with bellies. And he's like, no, like most grown men actually like that. That's like the number one thing we're insecure about. That's crazy. That's crazy. I had no idea. None. Since nobody else is going to wish you this today, happy International Men's Day. On International Women's Day, our buildings in our cities like change color and, you know, they have like the big International Women's Day logo on it. International Men's Day, nobody knows that it exists. If I have to see one more woman in my comments when I talk about lowering the rate for men, sitting there being like, well, I would feel bad if they didn't support the patriarchy. I would feel bad. Why don't you advocate for a lower rate for women? First of all, I don't see feminists ever talking about this rate for women. You guys only seem to care when men's rate is brought up. Funny how you guys hate when men invade women's spaces, but you can't shut the f up and get the f out of men's rights spaces. And what system did they promote that caused them to commit? So I really need to know what part of the patriarchy was a reason why men feel so hopeless that they want to kill themselves. Like, are they themselves because a woman took his job? What do you think is actually happening here? If anything, the majority of the reason why men kill themselves is due to financial reasons, which means that it's not very patriarchal at all, actually. Just be honest. Most feminists can't stand it when the topic isn't on them. When it's on someone else, they throw a fit. Yeah, so if you're going to participate in this women in male fields trend, make sure you're not naming that women do literally every single day, such as domestic and other forms of and cheating. Because if all men are cheaters, then how come most of the fathers on Maury, like, we're not the father? Please explain that to me. I saw one today that really got to me, which was when I see my girlfriends, their boyfriends, but I don't say anything because girls must stick together, hashtag women in male fields. That one pissed me off. Because, like, don't we do that all the time? And the biggest reason we get away with it is because society doesn't see women doing a heinous crime as bad as if a man were to do it. And evidence of this is in the court system. If a woman and a man commit the exact same crime, a guy will go to jail 3 times longer than the woman. All this trend does is seeks to make a mockery of equality, and it's annoying. Women can do anything a man can do except be a...
Why are you drinking coffee, bro? You're not supposed to drink coffee when you're pregnant. What is wrong with you?
The baby likes it.
Bro, stop. No. You're not supposed to drink coffee when you're pregnant.
Baby.
There are rules.
You can actually have up to 1 cup of coffee per day when you're pregnant. That's the doctor's recommendation. And even so, you yelling at her is causing more damage to her baby than her drinking a cup of coffee. I wouldn't be able to live like that when I was pregnant, but good luck to you.
I know that gaslighting men on the internet is like most modern women's favorite pastime nowadays, but if you're gonna gaslight a father out of defending his unborn baby, can you at least use the correct information? Because I can tell that you don't have any children yourself, you're not married, because you don't know what you're talking about. A doctor recommends 1 cup of coffee a day? No, that they don't. They recommend that if you're addicted to coffee, you can have 1 small cup a day, but you should quit. To sit here and try to convince that man that him raising his voice out of frustration and helplessness is worse than coffee? Delusional. Drinking coffee while pregnant causes growth restrictions as well as it depletes the stress hormone in the fetus. The very hormone hormone that would actually help keep them safe from any raised voices around them causing them stress. So what you're saying right now is ironic, and I love the separation language she used there in order to gaslight him any further when she said that you yelling at her hurts her baby more than coffee does. Actually, I'm sorry, I think you pronounced their baby wrong. I don't know, maybe English isn't your first language, not sure. We're not gonna sit here and pretend like a father is stressed out raising his voice because he's helplessly having to sit there and watch the mother of his child harm his baby and there's nothing he can do about it. We're not gonna sit here and pretend like that's the exact same thing as like the yelling that comes from domestic violence. We're just not. Like, notice how that mother raised her voice right back at him and nobody was in the comments being like, lady, you're hurting your baby too. No, y'all just want women to be victims so bad because somehow it like soothes your inner daddy issues. All of the women in the comments, including the woman who responded to that video, you guys are giving like, I defend women who smoke and drink while pregnant vibe. It's giving, I know this woman's in the wrong, but I'm gonna give false information to the dad because I need to gaslight him because girls must stick together. Is raising your voice the correct response for anything? No, but I can imagine how he's probably feeling. I have children of my own. I couldn't imagine if I had a surrogate and I had to sit there and watch her put garbage in her body and then be like, no, I'm not stopping because the baby likes it. That would stress me the out. We want dads to be active so bad, and then when they're active, caring fathers, we do everything to gaslight them into thinking that they're not important, including using language as her baby. This video is so diabolical. This is the second response I had to do to it because I missed so much in the first video. Women should stick together for sure, but we should not stick together in gaslighting fathers, feeding them false information, again, just to soothe our inner like misandrist, I hate men issues, okay? I hope absolutely none of you get any ever for the rest of your lives. Thank you.
You know, modern women, they really do have a gift of just not having the things that they request of men, not doing the things that they request of men. In this particular situation, the man is effectively communicating, and he's not just saying, oh, don't do it because I told you so. He's saying, hey, that can really harm our baby. We don't want that to happen. But instead, because you can't take accountability, you decide, I'm going to keep on doing it anyway. Darn anybody else. And this is a consistent pattern that we see with modern women. They don't care nothing about anybody else but themselves.
Most people don't give a shit about men's rights until it affects them, right? Like, it's not until his bad moods are just too unbearable for you, or worse, it's not until you're crying over his, you're like, oh my God, maybe men do matter. Nah, it's too late. Keep that energy. Just keep that energy. Shut up and keep crying about all day, every day, therapist, mother maid. Shut up. Yeah. Tips for all the ladies out there: date yourself a nerd. Because instead of looking at, he's supposed to be booking an Uber, but instead he's looking at video games. And you know what? I'll take that over any day. Gentlemen, despite what these women will tell you, don't ever forget, be as picky as possible, okay? Because marrying late has never anybody. Marrying the wrong woman has.
My name is Chloe Roma. I'm the world's leading men's rights advocate on social media and been doing it for 5 years.
There is this ideal, especially on social media, of the alpha male these days.
I feel like it always has been. I feel like men have always, because if you look at what like the alpha male is, it's somebody who's respected, somebody who is, you know, successful, whether that be with wealth or however you want to measure success. This has like always been an expectations for men. Because if you look at the gender roles, there are people who still expect women to be barefoot and pregnant, for sure. But I feel like the majority of the world recognize that women are capable of doing multiple different things. But we like don't feel the same for men.
Dude, I'm in such a good relationship right now. Like, he's handsome. He fulfills all my emotional needs. He listens to me. Damn, girl, I'm so happy for you. I hope it works out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cheat on him. What? Maybe introduce a little domestic, I don't know. He's a little too nice. I'm kind of bored, you know?
I just saw a woman that said the difference between a man and a woman is that a man will tell you to put a smile on your face and a woman will just put a smile on your face. Meanwhile, the whole video, I was not smiling. But let me tell you something. Quiet. You were barking outside. You're a bad boy. I love you. I'll let you out in a second. I've always been like pretty my whole life. Like, I've not been a happy person. I've been through a lot and I'm working on it, and I'm probably in my happiest phase in my life right now. And the reason for that is because I have a really good man that, guess what, I'm engaged to, and like, he puts a smile on my face. So he's coming home. He hasn't been home in like 10, 11 days. He went back home to Toronto, and he's currently on an airplane. Ow, I just dropped a charger on my toe. Oh my God. Ow. That hurts so bad. You wanna see the dog just a pain in my anus? Anyways, he makes me smile, and Anyways, I'm very unfamiliar and not really liking this generation that's basically convincing women that they just shouldn't like their men, they shouldn't like their boyfriends, everything their boyfriend does is bare minimum, blah, 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 blah. Because I love my man, and he makes me smile a lot. And you know what? He's made me feel the best I have in my whole life. And you know what I tell my therapist? I say, Jason, this man treats me exactly like how I deserve to be treated. And ain't that a beautiful thing? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, keep your heart open. Thank you.
Well, congratulations. Love to see it. Wishing you guys a lot of happy years together, healthy and happy, growing, building together. Definitely, like I said, love to see it. Appreciate you standing up for all of the men who don't have a voice, all of the men who have a voice, but people act like they couldn't hear what the man said, calling him names, shaming him, saying that his words don't mean nothing. And then you coming in and standing beside men and saying, no, our men are still important. They do a lot of important things, and they have a lot of good things to offer the world. So once again, congratulations, and hopefully many, many more years to you guys.
Today's episode of women not wanting men to have standards so that they can continue to them. This post is going viral on social media right now because of the controversy that it kicked up. It says, a man with 4 sisters says that his standards are high because of the way his sisters treat him. I'm a woman, so like if I saw a woman make a post being like, my standards for men are high because of the way that the men in my family treat me, I'd be like, you go girl, right on. But that's not how the women are feeling, is it? The literal top comment says his wife needs to be prepared. Marry your sister then. This is just on this post. This post has been posted everywhere, and women are enraged. Enraged. Like, how dare women show men how they deserve to be treated? Because they should be ours. This is how I know that modern feminists are just a bunch of supremacists. Like, it's never been about, it used to be about equality. It's not anymore. No, now it's just about putting men down and building women up. And so when we see men getting treated good, our red flags go off.
Every man needs to cheat on his girlfriend at least once. And I know it sounds crazy.
You're right. That does sound crazy. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Y'all know Rachel Zegler, who hands down destroyed the Snow White production just out of her own selfish needs? The producer's son has something to say about that on Instagram. Those that don't know, Rachel Zegler, she played Snow White in the live-action production, and the entire time, she made it her life mission to be as insufferable as possible. All of the promotions, she was talking about how she's a feminist and that's why she deserves to get paid for every second she's in that dress and every second that it's streamed. She even had the balls to say that she should have been paid the most because she was a woman, despite the fact that tens of thousands of people worked on that production and deserved to be paid equally too. No, she felt like she deserved the majority of it. Well, the producer flew all the way to where she was at just to reprimand her and be like, look, you're being selfish and you single-handedly ruined this movie in the box office. Because guess what? Even people like myself, and I love Snow White, I'm never gonna see it because of her stank ass attitude. Jonah Platt went on Instagram to defend his father when some loser commented, your dad flew to NYC to reprimand a young actress. Any words on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. Imagine being as insufferable as you can be at work, and then when your male boss calls you in to reprimand you, you'd be like, well, that's creepy. People have the right to free speech, no? Shame on your father. This is exactly the type of audience that Rachel Zegler is like attracting when she keeps pushing out these femcel ideologies. But that's all right, because Jonah Platt, he clapped back and he said, you really want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid to do publicly for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, something feminists don't know very well, buddy. We're there with you. And her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers that depended on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled and encouraged. Yeah, we're just gonna leave one of those for him real quick. Imagine getting paid multi-million dollars to do a movie and you're just so narcissistic, so wrapped up in your own greed that you can't shut the fuck up about the fact that you deserve more. Let me just put it into perspective for you. Rachel Zegler destroyed Snow White so bad that even people who love West Side Story, like the OG West Side Story movie, they did a reenactment of it. They did a new modern version of it, and Rachel Zegler was in it, and people refused to see it just because she was in it. I am one of those people. This girl could have used her voice to talk about equal pay for female actresses, better work environments, and instead she said, I deserve more, causing that movie to have millions of dollars in losses. Nah, but women are still supporting this because a man directed the movie. Feminism being insufferable, ladies and gentlemen.
Today is my husband's funeral, which unfortunately I cannot make because obviously I am busy here in Tunisia. I would have loved to have gone. We were together for 17 years. Unfortunately for me, he did decide to die on the week I had planned to come on holiday, so I did make the decision not to go.
Today is my husband's funeral, and unfortunately I can't go for reasons that are completely within my control. King, may that type of love never find you. Unfortunately, he decided to die on the week I had vacation planned, so, well, excuse him, for not picking a better day to delete himself off of this planet. Like, what the f are you even talking about? Normalize this, normalize that. No, stop normalizing things. If the only thing that we should normalize in this generation, it's normalizing shutting the f up. It's normalizing keeping things off the internet and in your diary. Some things should just not be normalized, such as women expressing sentiments like this. May you burn in hell. Non-peacefully, ma'am. Okay, so I used to sell my chocolate starfish. Sorry. I used to sell my chocolate starfish on the internet, on my Patreon. It was super expensive. It was highly regulated, but I still did it. It was work. And once my brain developed, I discovered a few things. So to all the young women who are considering signing up for I never had one, but still, whether you're going to run it through your Patreon, your own website, whatever, you need to listen to this video. I'm not going to give you the basic, you're gonna ruin your relationships with your families and, your future man's family won't accept you and this, that, and the next thing. No, I'm just going to tell you the blatant truth. Okay? The truth is that you will wake up one day and suddenly hate everything that you've done. Everything you've posted on the internet, you will hate it. Not just hate it, you will find deep shame in it. And what does this deep shame look like? It looks like waking up and realizing that you have shown the internet the most intimate parts of your body. The parts of your body that you now wish you could only share with your man. However, there are people on the internet looking it up every single day, and that will do something to you. That will do something to your self-worth. If you're an only model or, a not safe for work model and you happen to have children, you will wake up one day and be like, oh my God, what have I set my children up for? What kind of harassment, what kind of ostracized have I exposed my kids to? See, I got really lucky. I'm engaged now. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it a beautiful ring? And his family really accepts me. They accept me despite what my dark past is. And I think that's probably because they're strong Christians. And Catholic. I think some of them are Catholic. But despite the fact that I'm going to have a husband, despite the fact that I have in-laws that love me, I feel shame every single day. And not just shame. I feel it in my wallet, my bank account. Because I pay damn near $2,000 every single month to
get this scrubbed from the internet and people will just always continue to re-upload it. Like, it's just a given. Like, I don't know if people realize this, but I have 2 post-secondary educations. One in funeral services and embalming. That's right. If you die, I can embalm you and get you ready for your funeral. But number 2 is addictions and disabilities with a specialization in fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, which means like when your mother takes substances, whether it's weed, alcohol, whatever, while she's pregnant with you. Yeah, I got 2 educations that I will most likely not be able to use. And I'm also about to go for my master's in forensic psychology with an undergrad in social work and child development. And there's a very good chance that I will be wasting my money and my time because I probably won't get hired in a field. However, I'm going to give it a shot and I'm going to hope that times have changed and maybe I can explain myself someday. But the reality of it is my chocolate starfish is indeed on the internet. All these women are promoting to young girls is like houses and cars and all this luxury and nobody is talking about the downsides of it. And the people that are talking about the downsides of it are only doing it at a limit, right? Like there's a blonde model that's like trying to educate young women as to why they shouldn't go into work. But then when she was offered to go to like a big podcast to have a big reach to actually educate women, she said no because her education is really just based on her wanting to get views. The world is a dark place, man, and women, we have come way too far to just reduce ourselves to our chocolate starfishes for money, you know?
Man, you know what? I actually commend you for spending a good amount of money to try to get that taken down. A lot of women would be like, oh, well, that was just a part of me. That's my past. And if you can't learn to accept my past and we're not going to have a future or whatever dumb stuff that you want to make up, constantly embarrassing your man. This is what men be talking about, actually, by the way. Modern women go out there and they do these things without a care in the world for how it's going to come back in their future. And this is why men look at body count. Because they say, hey, I'm looking at what you used to do and I'm judging and saying, okay, you might do this over here. You're not doing it now, but there's a possibility that you might. You guys would say the same thing for a man and have said the same thing. But y'all get mad when a man holds the line and said, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be around that type of stuff. But like I said, kudos to you and your family and your man for saying, you know what? I'm going to accept that. But then you not stopping there. You going the extra mile and saying, let me try to see if I can honor my future husband and get this removed so I don't have to, number one, worry about how people treat him and what they say to him. Yeah, there's going to be some people out there talking about him and talking bad about him. But I want to make sure that I can protect him as much as I can. And I want to make sure that I protect my future, my legacy as much as I can. I want to shield them. That's what most men are looking for. A nurturer. So many times modern women put, oh man, I want a man to protect and provide. And they forget what nurturing looks like. They forget what protection looks like from the point of view of a woman. So like I said before a couple times, and I'm saying it again, I appreciate you trying to get that stuff taken down and trying to do it on an ongoing basis.
The only people that I'm jealous of are those girls going around doing the trend that's like, honey, I can't pay for my mortgage, or I can't pay for our mortgage this month. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about, ho? You don't pay for anything. Those are the only people I'm jealous of, okay?
I really don't even know why this trend exists in the first place, because it's going against what modern women, strong, independent women tell us, and that is they don't need a man for anything. But now with this trend, they're coming to the man and saying, hey, I actually need you to spot me. I don't have the rent this month. A lot of modern women want this exact same thing from a man in their relationship. I want to run it. I want to shoot and shoot. I want to break records and I want to have the 50-point game. But when it's time to make the game-winning shot, depending on how I feel that night, I want the option to take the game-winning shot. In a man's world, we always have to take the game-winning shot. Very few times where a man can defer and say, I'm going to let you have it. A man's got to always step up to the plate. But modern women, strong, independent women, continue to want to push off responsibility onto the man whenever it suits them. And then whenever they want to take it back, hand it to me, or else you're insecure and you can't lead me.